Hi, this is Karen. I'm with inspiredbygram.com. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm bringing you another simple stamping Sunday card. This card was made with the Lovely You cling stamp set from Stampin' Up. So let's talk about the card for a second and the colors I used. So I went to my color coach from Stampin' Up, which they created, and I wanted to use Highland Heather as my card base, so I chose that. And then I just looked at the various different colors that go and coordinate with Highland Heather. So for this card, we're going to use Highland Heather, of course. We're going to use some highlighting of Melon Mambo, Blackberry Bliss, and Mossy Meadows. So let's get started with the card. First, we'll look at the stamp set here. This is the cling stamp set, Lovely You. Just different various foliage and full flowers with a couple highlights as well, and a bunch of different sentiments here. We're going to use Just Because for today. Then again, the inks I chose here, my color palette, I've got Highland Heather, Mossy Meadow, Blackberry Bliss, and the Melon Mambo. All my blocks are already pre-mounted on Stampin' Up blocks. I love these blocks. They have a nice little grip here. So we've got these all ready to go. So we'll move those over. Now the consumables here, let's go over the sizes, and these will all be in the description box below. This is a piece of Whisper White, which is 3/4 of an inch by 3 3/4, and we'll actually mount it on a piece of Blackberry Bliss that's 1 by 3 3/4. Then the next layer down is a Whisper White panel, which is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8, and it's actually no, 3 3/4 by 5, mounted on Blackberry Bliss, which is 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. So it just gives you a little bit of a 1/8 of an inch border, which looks really nice. And then our card base here is Highland Heather, which is 4 1/4 by 11. I've already pre-scored it at 5 1/2. And on the inside is our Whisper White panel, which is 4 by 5 1/4. So you're gonna need some, and this is our Whisper White envelope. All right, so you're going to need some scrap paper just to have on your work surface. We're going to bring in the panel here that is mounted on, will be mounted on the Blackberry Bliss, okay? Because these two Whisper White panels are a little bit different in size, so you got to make sure you're stamping on the correct one. And then our card is going to be a top fold card, so we want our direction in this way here. So what I chose to do is I chose to start with the darkest color in my mind is the Blackberry Bliss. So we'll open up that stamp case. And the one that I chose that I wanted to use is kind of that foliage one here. You can use whatever colors that you like to use. And then just go for it. So what I'm going to do, let me just show you here. I don't really care about a section in the middle that's about 1 inch because it's going to get covered up by this panel here. So I like to, you know me, I like to work in odd numbers. So I'm going to stamp this one because I like it a lot and it's bold. I'm going to stamp it 5 times. Kind of like in a circle pattern, but then let's throw one down here. And then let's go just like this. Okay, so that's our start of our panel. The next thing we're going to do is I'm going to put this aside here because I might go back to it. I want the green, so we're going to open up the Mossy Meadow case. I'm going to find the flower here. It's kind of the next bold image, and I'm just going to put it 3 of them. So let's put one down here because there's a kind of a white space. Angle it a little bit different than that one. And then the next one, let's just throw this right over here. Okay, so that's good. We might come back to this one too, so we're going to set this one aside. And then let's go with this image here. It's foliage, but I'm going to give it a pop of color with a Melon Mambo. Again, we're just going to stamp that, give it a nice little inking up, and then we're going to put one there. Let's put another one down in that area to cover up that white space. And then we're going to throw one, let's go this way, just to cover that up. Okay, then the next thing, we might go back to this one, we never know. We are going to, let's see, let's stamp our sentiment next, because then we can kind of figure out where we need to stamp, okay? So we've got this strip here. I'm gonna ink up the Just Because in the Blackberry Bliss one, because it's a strong dark color, and another is one of my favorite colors. So I didn't stamp that E very well, so let's just give it another try, because we have 2 sides to every paper. And that's better. Okay, so I know that this is going to go on top of this Blackberry Bliss, but I don't really know where it's going to go. So I'm just gonna try to figure out, probably it's gonna go about here, because this is kind of the area we want to cover up. So let's just leave this here for right now. And then we're gonna highlight with this little floral image here, and this little like kind of a crown, I guess. I don't know what it really is. We haven't used Highland Heather yet, so we're gonna give this little flower here a nice pop of color. And let's do 3. 1, 2, and let me just bring in that scrap paper, because I want to stamp off to the corner up here. Okay, so we've got 3. I still think it needs a little bit more. Okay, so let's throw in the crown, and we're going to use Mossy Meadow to do that. I'm going to call it the crown. I really have no idea what that thing is. If you know what it is, just give me a shout in the comment box. And let's throw one over here. Okay, so I'm thinking that looks pretty good, and we're going to just go with that. So let's move some of these ink pads out of the way. Oh, actually, no, we're not done, right? We have to do our inside panel and our envelope. So to do that, what I would just do is take probably your most favorite image, like mine is this one here. So I'm just going to re-ink that up in Blackberry Bliss. And also our envelope. We've got our Whisper White envelope. And we're going to do the same thing. And then what we'll do is we'll add a little bit of, let me see, I want this one here. This is the Melon Mambo one. So let's throw in some really bright colors off to that way. And then we'll do this panel here, the inside. And then, because I like the Highland Heather little flower, make sure I get that ink off. I'm just going to re-ink it. And let's throw a little flower over there and call it good. And then on our envelope, we're just going to do the same. Oops, I did Melon Mambo there, but that's okay. All right, so that just kind of gives you a little idea of how you can play with colors. Now, let's assemble the card. All right, I want to bring in my Silicone Craft Sheet. This is my host. You'll see my host rewards here for December 1st to the 31st, 2020. If you use my host code here, which is BZF3QUG2, and your order of products is 35 and above, use the code. If it's 150 or more, then don't use a code, so you can receive the Stampin' rewards. But I will send you in the month of January one of these silicone craft sheets for free. They are like my favorite item in my craft room. I don't like my desk to get all like adhesive, so I use this all the time. It works great with all kinds of glues, especially the Tombow glue, the liquid glue. All right, so that looks good. The next thing we're going to do is we're going to add this down. And I'm using Stampin' Seal, and I know some of you are still having a little bit of issue with it, but I'm going to show you a trick with the craft sheet that I kind of helps me out once in a while when I struggle with it. All right, I got to stop here and think, because this is just an 1/8 of an inch border, and it's really hard to see. My eyes are not the greatest. So it's just a little bit of a border, and I think I didn't get it too far over there, but you understand here. So again, let's go back to the adhesive. If you're having a problem adhering and getting it to start, what I have been doing is I go off the card just a little bit, and that starts the action of the adhesive. Okay, so I know some of you are having issues with that. So again, if you to start off the edge, that just little bit of lift gets it going. Okay, so back to the card here. We're going to add this on and just center it top, bottom, left, and right. Then we're going to take this piece and we're going to add it on wherever we think it's going to look good covering up. Now I'm going to probably most likely cover up that entire image, but that's okay. With the Stampin' Seal, I don't only need to do one line of adhesive and call it good. Again, I'm just going to figure out where I want to put this. Let's do right there. Give it a press. Now we're going to create this little bloom here. I have the bloom punch. It's a small bloom punch. I've got a scrap of the Blackberry Bliss. I'm going to punch it out. And then I need a glue dot. So let me grab one of those. Put a glue dot on the back side. And then you can add it right to this area here. Then the final touch is the Elegant Faceted gems. I used these gems in my last stamp club, and I've got some left over, so we're going to use some of these. They come in clear, petal pink, and kind of like a white, whisper white matte finish. So let's use up this last one here. So I'm going to use the matte color. We're going to add that right in the center. On this card here, I used the petal pink version, and to highlight these three of these little small blooms, I used the clear ones. So I'm going to stick with the whisper white ones, and then let's put one right down here. And I'm using the smaller size ones, one over here, and then one more. Let's put it right up there because that's the last one. And we're going to call it good. So then we need to add the inside panel. So grab that. We'll flip it over, run our adhesive over. And then let's bring this card right back into the picture, a 1/4 inch border, top, bottom, left, right, and call it good. So let's clean up my area and we can take a look at this card that we just created together, which I hope you give a try. And it does use the lovely used stamp set from Stampin' Up. So here's the one we created on camera, and here's the one which I don't have an envelope for, but you get the idea of how you can create the envelope. For all your Stampin' Up needs, you can visit me at inspiredbygram.com. Thanks for watching and have a great day.